said before that you'd like for microfinance to be more than just a financial product and more of a platform, and this is what you mean.
That's right. You see, if you look at whenever we do economic analysis, the poor, or even demographic analysis, the most marginalized parts of the population are kind of a rounding error. We look at the wealthiest 20 or 40 or 60%, and we say the poorest must be some fraction above that in terms of population or economic activity. We never really do a census of the economic activities and the demographics of the poor. What microfinance has done, because no one else had done it, is actually go to the poor, go to their doorsteps, and ask them what financial services they want, and if they want them, to provide them, to get data on what they loan, what they borrow, what they pay back. And so what we see is once you have that relationship with them, then it's more than a product. It's the world's largest aggregation of institutions with a direct relationship with the poor, not as a rounding error, but as people with financial needs and non-financial needs. And when you think about that infrastructure, and you realize most MFIs meet face-to-face with their clients every 7 days. So in terms of educating them about products, providing them with services, there are 52 opportunities a year, direct contact opportunities. You already have that because of the credit and the financial services, but you can do so many things with that on that platform. And there's really no other platform that exists except for perhaps governments, which are not terribly efficient in most cases, which they have that direct relationship, seeing more than 50 times a year, having contact with, doing business with 500 million of the world's poor.
Right. So for example, the women who borrow money from the Grameen Bank or one of the microfinance institutions would come to these meetings and say have a group session on education on different aspects, or just a solidarity session, things like that.
Just to give one simple example,
right.
In Bangladesh and in poor countries, just like in rich countries, there are a lot of health myths. People assume certain things about nutrition, and in this country it's an Atkins diet or something that is out there. But when there are health and nutrition myths in this country, they're mostly harmless. People gain a few pounds, lose a few pounds, or sick. When there are health myths in a third world country and someone has a health crisis, it can be a life or death situation. So because of these contact points between the educated people who work for microfinance institutions and the poor, you have 50 opportunities a year in most cases to shatter myths, to provide accurate information on health, on nutrition, on political participation. Grameen can let 6 million families know on 7 days' notice if there's a new government program that they should be benefiting from but don't know about. And that can change the whole dynamic. It can, if there is if there's a disease that's striking livestock that is true or just rumored to be true, that information can go out. And that information, again, for us, to have information like that as a convenience, for the poor it can be a matter of life or death.